To describe my guest today as glamorous is an understatement. She's vivacious, witty, beautiful, and a talented actress. However, a real claim to fame is her work as a philanthropist and her love for the continent of Africa, where she makes her home. The big show this week, we're talking to Carolyn Steyn of
67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day.
And as we indicated before at the beginning of the show, next year is the unveiling of the big project. What is it?
The big project is the Massive Mandela Masterpiece. And as you know, with Twitter and Instagram, it's a hashtag now, hashtag MMM, our Triple M project. So we are going to create the largest portrait blanket in the world of the face of Madiba. So this is going to cover an area, a vast area of 4,500 square meters. So as you see, every pixel here in the face of Madiba is a blanket measuring 160 by 160 centimeters. So it's big. So it's really going to, I think, show the world what we are doing stitch by stitch with our own two hands to keep the legacy of Madiba alive.
Where will this be knitted?
Well, it's being knitted all over the world right now, and we need many more hands to come on board because we need, look, the black blankets I think we've got, because India has helped us. I mean, they've really rallied the nation to create the black blankets. And the inmates at Zonderwater Maximum Correctional Center, they have also created many black blankets. So I think I can relax regarding the black blankets. What we really need are many more gray blankets. So if your viewers can see the picture,
please talk to them directly.
Of Madiba, we need your help. If you can crochet, please make a blanket. If you can't crochet, go onto YouTube and learn, or find someone, adopt a knitter. There are so many people who've got the will, who do not have the wool, who would love to participate in this project, which is historical. This is the way 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day is going to be paying tribute to Madiba in his 100th year. This is going to take place on April 24th. 2018, next year.
That's the unveiling.
His 100th year. So yes, so over the sports field of Zonderwater, we will put all these blankets in the correct pattern, and it's going to be so big, you will only be able to see Madiba's face from the sky, and guess what? From outer space.
What?
Yes.
Out of space.
From outer space.
Out of sight.
That's
out
amazing.
of sight. Out of sight.
So, and also, as you can see, around the face of Madiba, we are going to use blankets measuring 160 by 160 centimeters in the colors of our flag. So we would love so many more people, your viewers, to come on board to help us to pledge a blanket, figure out which blanket you would like to make. Would you like to make the blanket at the eye, or, you know, at the top of his forehead? We need blankets, we need wool, we need people's goodwill. And I want to thank you, Dr. Makamba, for your very generous recent donation of wool.
We are friends.
I might come and ask you for some more.
Oh, you see.
And your viewers.
Give a lady your hand, then she wants your purse. Tell me, for the people who are knitting in various countries,
yes,
how do they get the blankets to South Africa?
Well, India, we got a shipment of about 50 blankets the other day, which came with a person from India who brought it as part of his luggage.
Okay.
So that was boxes and boxes and boxes. How he got that right, I don't know.
I guess some of the airlines will give concessions. Hey, Richard Branson, if you're watching, Virgin, Emirates, Air Zimbabwe, Air Ghana, Air Nigeria, and South African Airways, of course.
Absolutely, not to forget British Airways, because we've got blankets being made in England as well, and Wales. So how do we get those blankets here? I don't know, the people that you've just spoken to.
I think to sit down is a waste of time. I think we should do the whole show here.
We could.
We are talking to Carolyn Steyn of the
67 blankets.
Cameraman,
Mandela
can you
Day.
zero in on that? 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. What inspired you to start this project?
It wasn't an inspiration, it was a challenge. So Zelda Lachransi, Mandela's assistant, was with us. It was shortly after Madiba had passed. And it was my husband's birthday, December 19th, 2013. And I was boasting about my domestic abilities, of which I have none.
Domestic abilities.
And so she said, well,
we'll
why
have to ask Dal about some of those.
She said, why don't you make 67 blankets for Mandela Day?
This is Zelda.
Zelda. And I said, sure, no problem. But you know, it was light-hearted banter, went in one ear, out the other. And my sister Sharon arrived on Christmas Day with a bag of wool and a crochet hook as my gift. So I started crocheting on Christmas Day 2013.
Did you
and
crochet before as a young girl?
When I was at school, at JP High School for
Yes.
Girls, I learned how to crochet. But I hadn't crocheted since I was at school about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, more like
10
30.
years ago.
No, I think it's actually about
10
30
years
It
ago.
might even be 40.
10 years ago is when you put the ring on again.
So I realized I couldn't do it on my own, and I didn't have 67 friends. And the friends that I did have, they said, I don't cook, I don't knit, I'm too busy. Those friends are all making blankets, because otherwise they don't see me, because
Yes.
I'm too busy.
And they can afford not to see you.
Absolutely. So, and then, but I needed a lot more help. So I went onto Facebook and I asked complete strangers if there's anybody out there who might be able to help me make a blanket, because I've pledged 67 blankets. And the next day, when I woke up, it was a group that I created on Facebook called 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. SA, South Africa, because now we in many places around the world.
Around the world, yes.
And I was absolutely astonished by the response. So many people saying, I'm in, I'll make a blanket, hashtag, let's do it. And, but still, I wasn't sure, would I be able to get 67 blankets in time for Mandela Day? Mandela Day being Mandela's birthday,
And that would
July
have been
18th.
what, 2 weeks?
No, it was what, from December to July.
Oh, a lot of time.
So, yeah, but it's not a lot of
But
time.
I know
with
the
67
trepidation when you are
blankets,
beginning something,
because
yes.
you pledge something and you don't know if you can deliver.
Yes.
So now, I must tell you, wherever I go, there's someone coming towards me with a blanket, because we've had generations, the soap opera, the longest running, most popular, most viewed soap opera in all of Africa.
Yes.
Who have written the storyline of 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day
And you
into
have
their script 4 years in a row.
And you have appeared
Yes,
in
I
it.
play that role of Carolyn Steyn. You know that woman?
Yes,
That
yes,
woman.
yes.
The founder of 67
Yes,
Blankets.
yes.
And she's a very difficult person to play.
I remember when you and I came to join you at the Nelson Mandela Square
Yes,
last year.
yes.
And everyone just keeps, oh, there she is. Oh my God, there she is.
It's because of generations.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
if you
Since we've decided to do the whole show with this background, normally we'll be sitting down. A lot of people want to know, yes, we see the Carolyn Steyn of the blankets. We hear of the Carolyn Steyn, the wife to Dal Steyn. How did this all begin? How did you, who are you?
Who am I?
Before meeting Dal. Because the moment you came in touch with Dal, everything got Carol Steyn, the wife of Dal. Who are you?
Well, it's a good question. I ask myself that every single day. I'm a girl who grew up in Johannesburg. I went to JP High School for Girls. I come from a very middle-class family, normal, simple. We didn't have very much.
Like most of us.
Like
all of
like
us.
you,
Yeah. Headed goats and cattle.
But I think that my mother taught us a lot. She grew up in an orphanage. And so she knew what it was like to live with nothing. And so our entire life she was giving and giving and giving. And I think that she's instilled that sense of giving into the Barkhuizen girls. I grew up as Carolyn Barkhuizen. And so I've always been involved in charitable work. When I lived in Los Angeles, I lived there for 10 years. I was involved.
Is this where you got your acting career?
Acting started before that, because when I left school, I went to Wits University and I did a BA honours in drama, in dramatic art. And so I started working as an actress for Pact Drama here, Performing Arts Company of the Transvaal, for a number of years. I worked for the SABC. I used to read the news on Radio 5, which is now 5FM.
Yes.
So we're talking a few years ago.
I remember some of the people you worked with, I had worked with in Zimbabwe. In the old
Rhodesia. I know you who talked. Martin Locke.
Martin Locke, yes. Cocky Locke, we used to call him.
Martin Locke was, I would say, my mentor, my radio mentor.
Yes, he was very good.
Because I started out as a newsreader, and Martin Locke used to do the morning show.
Yes.
And he used to encourage me to come out of that news shell to be more Carolyn and to talk.
Yes.
So Martin Locke, I have a lot to thank him for.
Do you know where he is now?
I believe he lives in Cape Town.
He lives in Cape Town. Malcolm Russell was the other one.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
He runs a broadcast school here now.
Oh, okay.
He was my boss at one time.
Oh, really?
He used to sign my signed check. He used to sign my paycheck.
Okay.
Okay, so that is you. And how did you meet Dow?
I met him through a mutual friend, so it was sort of like a blind date, if you like.
In Johannesburg?
I met him at the Saxon. I'd just come out from Los Angeles, and a friend of mine said, "What are you doing tonight? You know, come to the Saxon." I said, "What's the Saxon?" I'd never heard of the Saxon.
The Saxon, yes.
You know, so then I got a call from someone saying, "Is this Carolyn Barkhazen? We would like to come and pick you up." And I said, "No. Let me just get one thing straight. Nobody picks me up. I will drive to wherever the Saxon
Especially coming from LA,
Yeah.
you're a bit of a woman's sleep.
Yeah.
Then.
So I drove, I found the Saxon, and I've got no sense of direction. And I met Doe, and I guess the rest is history.
Was it love
No.
at first sight?
No.
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 Did you resist him?
Maybe on his part.
Of course, on his part, yes.
Because I remember we were dancing. We went to a party, and we both love Andrew Lloyd Webber, and neither one of us can sing. And I think Doe dances better than I do. So,
I can't believe that.
but I thought, you know, here's Doe, he's Afrikaans, all his friends were Afrikaans, you know, these big
hard males.
And I thought, I come from the world of the arts,
Yes.
actors, you know.
You were the finer,
So
the smoother, the...
kind of, you know,
Exactly.
ethereal, in the clouds kind of people. So I never thought I would ever see this bunch of Afrikaans people again in my life. So I just, you know, let my hair down and had fun.
Yes.
And I remember Doe saying to me, "I'm going to marry you." And I said...
On that first
on
date?
that first date. And
As
I
you
said,
were dancing?
As we were dancing. He said, "I'm going to marry you." And I said, "In your dreams, honey."
Yes. I can visualize you saying that.
In your dreams. And we got married, and then we got divorced, and then we got married again.
Sweet. I remember the second marriage was upstairs.
Yes.
In what used to be a suite.
It was the Thabo and Becky suite.
Yes, which
and
is
then
now
suite
500.
It was 500, and
now
Luke
Dale
Dale
Roberts.
So,
Extremely
Luke
popular.
Dale Roberts used to be our bedroom.
Do you eat there? When you go up there to eat, what comes to mind?
I've eaten there twice.
Only?
Yeah.
I can understand.
Yeah.
Brings back memories.
Yeah.
But good memories.
Well.
Good memories. We're talking to Carolyn Steyn on Makamba Life. Now, we've covered so much. Your life is just so huge, so big, there's so much to say. I would like to know, I think a lot of listeners too would like to know about going back, you know, growing up in Johannesburg and going to school, you know, languages. Afrikaans was so dominant at that time. Did you manage to learn any other languages?
I've got to tell you, my Afrikaans really doesn't work very well. Although my father was Afrikaans, my mother was South African of Italian and Scottish descent. So
Italian, Scottish.
Yeah.
Is that where the looks come from?
The looks.
Okay. Thanks, dear mommy. Dear mommy, thank you.
Thanks, Mum. But no, my Afrikaans is very bad. My French is a lot better. Je suis étudiante à l'Alliance française. J'aime beaucoup la langue, la musique de la langue française.
You just say the 67 blankets for Mandela is sometimes taken to the French school. and this is where you dreamt up hashtag MMM. In French.
Okay, le 67 couverture pour Nelson Mandela Day est trouvé à Alliance Française et c'est le moment que j'ai trouvé l'idée pour le Massive Mandela Masterpiece.
Ah, Mr. Sarkozy.
Something like that.
Mr. Sarkozy, when you were president, you didn't pledge. Now you have to pledge.
And I have to tell you, I'm a great fan of Carla Bruni.
Wow.
You know, I'm obsessed by this woman. She is so beautiful, and she's actually Italian, but
You have similar hair.
she speaks French.
Yeah, that's Mr. Sarkozy's Madame.
That's right.
Yes.
So I often, because I'm learning French, I watch her a lot. And I love her mannerisms, I love the way she speaks. So I listen to a lot of Carla Bruni's songs and her speaking in French.
Okay. In keeping with what a lot of people would like to know about the real Carolyn Steyn.
Yes.
Sisters, brothers, hobbies, are there things that you had to do? Do you ever find time for yourself? Do you take your dogs for a walk?
Yeah.
Do you cook? What's your favorite meal?
Okay, I love pasta. And I think it's the Italian blood. And do I cook? No, I don't. I have cooked a few times, but I'm not a cook. I don't have the time for it. So
Do you have a personal chef?
I do have. We've got a few chefs, and they know what I like. But when I say I've eaten in Lukedale Roberts twice, it's true. Look, the food there is fabulous, and people love going there. But I'm such a simple girl. You know, my roots are very simple.
Did you say simple?
No, I am. I love a bowl of
Where's
pasta.
your sister?
My sister's here, and she will verify that I'm very happy with toast. Sometimes when I go to the Saks and I order toast with peanut butter and honey. I do.
That's lovely.
And a bowl of pasta. That's my favorite meal.
With what? Strips of fish or chicken? Or
No,
just
I like
tomato
I
base?
like the pasta puttanesca with the olives and the tomato and the, what are those little green things? Capers.
Yes.
I love that. I don't eat meat. I'm vegetarian.
For how long have you been a vegetarian?
Well, I eat chicken and I eat fish, so I'm not really vegetarian. I don't eat red meat.
We have to talk very quickly about your sister. You almost wedded. I mean, I've seen, and you know sisters who fight each other to death. And once one sister takes the center stage like you have, there's almost a complete boycott from the other. How have you managed, you and your sister, at the Saxo or wherever at Hyde Park? When I see your sister, I know you're around somewhere.
Right,
when I see you, I know she's arriving.
Yeah.
How
No,
have you managed
I
that?
thank God for my sister, well, both my sisters really, but Sharon works with me very closely. She controls my life. She schedules I've got a very hectic schedule, and she also, you know, a lot of people want time with me, so she tries to fit them in as best as we possibly can. And
She was very kind in facilitating for this interview.
well, I'm glad to hear
Sharon,
that.
thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
May we hear your voice?
You're very welcome.
Thank you, that's it, dear sister.
She won't go in front of the camera. I don't know. But sisters are sisters. You know, we've had our good times, we've had our bad times, we have our squabbles, but that's life. But I think the older we get, the more kinder we are to each other.
Pets?
I've got my two doggies.
What are their names?
Bibi and Blondie.
Is it the Chihuahua?
No, they
which
are
type are they?
Yorkshire Terriers. They are so cute.
Not Bull Terriers.
Yorkshire Terriers. I mean, I love Yorkshire
Do you have a
Terriers.
picture of them?
I've got lots
Get
of
the
pictures
picture.
of them.
There's a picture. Let's put a picture on the screen.
Okay.
There they are. Oh, wow.
So, and I speak Yorkshire language, you know, I can go. So we get on.
I almost said stop it. But that has been claimed elsewhere.
You know, and also I spend a lot of time behind bars. You know, I spent a lot of time in jail. Don't know if you know that.
I was going to ask you, how did you get permission and how difficult was it to go into a prison? Because I understand is it Zonda?
Zonderwater.
Is a prison for those that are serving
Life sentences.
life sentences. And these are dangerous guys. How did you get permission to go in there? How long did it take?
You know, I think some things are meant to be, and I'm very cynical, but I believe that Madiba is guiding 67 blankets. How else does one get into a maximum correctional center?
Exactly.
I met someone who got me in there, and then I got into Drakenstein and Polsmoor prison through other people. So and then I met the people at head office, and the person, Dr. Kutsia, who was head of head office, loved the project. So it has been introduced. We've signed an MOU. It's been introduced into prisons all over South Africa with inmates making blankets. And let me tell you, it has changed the mindset of so many people. There's something about the act of crocheting. It calms you down, and it gives you a sense of purpose.
What percentage of men would you say out of 100 is it called crocheting?
Crochet.
I know I'm one of them.
Crocheting,
so out of 100, would you say 30% are men or 25 or
in terms
less?
of the inmates crocheting, 90% are men.
And outside?
And outside, 90% are women.
Are women. As would be expected.
Yeah.
I have a final question to ask you, but before I do, I must have left something out that you would have wanted to talk about. But what is it?
You know, I really want to talk about the fact that I'm so proud of people who are serving sentences behind bars, connecting with this project. I have to say that not everybody behind bars is a bad person. We are all capable of making a mistake. You know, but for the grace of God go I, because I think I too could end up in an orange uniform. Anybody can. You know, life is like that. Things take you by surprise. You arrive home and you find your wife with someone, and madness happens.
You pull the trigger.
You know, so I really believe anyone can end up behind bars, and people can be too quick to judge.
Was Nelson
sometimes.
Mandela your husband's friend, or
Yes.
he was a family friend?
He started as my husband's friend, and I was very fortunate to have met my husband when I did, because I was able to spend a lot of one-on-one time with Madiba. Yeah.
Was he fond of you?
I hope so. I think he was.
How would you describe him very quickly before I go to what I want to ask
I want to say saintly, almost unworldly. I could never be very comfortable with him. I was always aware of greatness.
The stature.
He had this aura.
How did he call your name out?
Caroline.
Caroline, like most people do.
Yeah.
Caroline.
That's it.
What are you doing?
Yes, that's it, Madiba. Yeah. No, we had beautiful, beautiful moments, and he used to tell great stories. So I was very privileged to have spent the time I did with him.
Now, Caroline, I'm getting it right, okay? You have traveled the world. You've worked in Hollywood, you've been to Beverly Hills, you've been to number one of the world. You've met stars. I've seen stars at the Saxon. I know you've had some of the best performers in the world come to stay in city. Who was was it the Cuban ballerina?
We've had incredible performers.
And then you had
at
the
our
former
home.
Beyonce partner.
I even don't know.
You don't know some of the people.
Some of these
What's
people,
your What's
I
your
don't
name?
know. What's that?
Who's the girl who used to play with Beyonce? Kelly came to your home and put a performance. But the question...
I've got to tell you something very funny.
Right.
So I'm sitting at the Saxons about 2 years ago, and one of the staff members comes up to me and he goes, Mrs. Steyn, to your left is Kanye West.
Wow.
And I look.
To your left.
I look, and I go,
Which one?
what does she look like? It's a true
She
story.
wasn't with the Kardashian wife.
Yes.
What's his wife again? The Kardashian girl?
It's
Kim.
Kim Kardashian.
Was he with Kim?
No.
He was just
no,
alone.
Yeah. But I mean,
With a beard like
I'm not up
Makamba's.
to date with popular culture.
But my question was going to be, of all the people you've met and all the places you've been to, your upbringing, your working career, meeting giants like Mandela, having such a wonderful family, sisters that are dedicated to your work, with all you have seen, what lesson have you learned about life? what would you say about life? Please tell
In my
your good friends
life,
there.
life hasn't always been easy, but it's not easy for, I would say, most people. I grew up a very normal, ordinary girl, and I had to fight for everything that I have. I had to fight for my education. My parents couldn't afford to send me to university, so I worked. I waitressed. I wrote for the local newspaper. I mean, I worked backstage in theaters, and so I fought. And I say that nothing is impossible. If you really, really, truly want something, go out and get it. Knock the doors down. There are always people around that you can find to be a mentor. People like James Makamba. You know, you need help, you need guidance, you need a door to be opened. Not everything can be done for you, but certain doors can be opened. So I'm very grateful for the doors that have been opened for me, but I have kicked down some of those doors. And very important is to find a purpose, and I find that 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day has become my purpose. It's become my raison d'etre and my reason for waking up every morning. You need a reason to get out of bed. Not just a job, but something that really speaks to the heart.
On Makamba Life, the one and only Carolyn Steyn. Madame, is it proper to say je t'aime? You're such a darling.
Oh, thank you.
3 times. In keeping with the French. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This, of course, is our best show.
So we're also creating a music video, our 67 Blankets anthem.
Yes.
That the prisoners at Zonderwater are doing, their choir. They're doing it together with my 14-year-old goddaughter who wrote the lyrics. And
Any other notable musicians?
Wouter Kellerman has been working with the prisoners, but it took us 2 years to get to that point where last week we were in the prison with the inmates singing the song with my 14-year-old godchild. So it was quite amazing and quite emotional having my innocent little godchild there with people who have committed some of them heinous crimes. So I think it's amazing. But to get to that point, you know, some people fight very hard to get out of jail.
Yes.
I fight very hard to get into jail.
Oh my God.
Because I love the work that we are doing behind bars.
Well said.
Thank you.